who remembers these DVDs? Zile zilikuwaga na movies, collection ya movies ndani, like they are 40, they are 12 movies, 16 movies in one. Who remembers them? Yeah, because well, you must be either a millennial or a Gen X or a baby boomer and going below ndo utaweza kuzikumbuka. Or if you're a Gen Z who came early, the early Gen Zs from watoto wa 1995, 96, 97, 98 huko, those ones you might relate, okay? So these movies kulikuwaga na collection. Ulikuwaga unapataga movie iko na collection ya Nigeria, movie 16. Ama unapata zile movies kama Transporter 1, Transporter 2, Transporter 3, ama sijui Terminator. Like those movies they were collective in that DVD. So DVD moja iko na movies 12 ama 16 ama 18 depending on the size and the number of movies that it can accommodate. So we used to watch those movies those days, and it was so amazing because ukinunua DVD moja umesort weekend yako tu fiti, then utaenda tena ununue ingine ama uende kwa beshte umuombe mazo uko na collection gani, uko na collection. Alafu people used to collect DVDs bana, wamezijeza kwa nyumba, zimejaa kwa kakitu fulani hivi kapocho walikoga naziweka ndani. So ukienda kutembelea mgeni ama wewe ni mgeni umeenda kutembelea msee na ako na DVD, ni itabidi umeenda pale hivyo kwanza kupe album. Kulikoga na album fulani hivi ya kuchagua DVD. Ebu hii DVD, hii nimewatch next. Hii inakaa kali, unamrefaia by the way, hii ndio ni moto. Wachana hizi watu wanapiga saa hii Netflix and chill, ati remote tu Netflix and chill. Ilikuwa pale msee ako na album ya ma DVD. So hizo album ni unafungua, ukikuja ni DVD, let's do DVD and chill. Yes, something of the sort, if there was that DVD and chill. Like right now we have Netflix and chill. Yes. So having this said that, why am I saying this? There were some of the memorable movies and very impactful movies that we used to watch back then, and they were packaged in those DVDs, and we really, really do appreciate and remember them. Until to date, we remember most of those movies. So today I want to talk about what? I want to talk about how to make your movie or how to make your show very memorable and impactful. Of course, some of these are not things you learn in class or a film class or maybe something of the sort. No, these are the only things you'll find in this channel. These are the things I'm going to tell you in this channel. Okay? So stay tuned. Make sure if you haven't subscribe. And if you're a film student, make sure you by the time you're watching my content for many months that you've been watching, make sure you at least make a short film bana. Usiekae tu hivyo ati unakaa tu wewe tu unangoja tu kusomaga tu content. Soma alafu uende utende. Ni kazi ni kufanya nini? Kazi ni kusema na kutenda. Ni kusoma na kutenda. Soma na utende. Yes, wacha tuache na mambo ya matendo. Acha turudi sasa darasani. So what are some of these tips that are going to help you make your movie memorable? Because this comes from your writing style all the way to even your shooting and even editing and even presenting your movie. So number one, it comes about create an emotional impact. Yes, that is the first tip. Create an emotional impact. So what do you mean about emotional impact? So of course you can choose an emotion. You can choose an emotion of anger, sadness, sorrow, sympathy, empathy. You're gonna have emotion of love, emotion of maybe betrayal, hatred, and some sort of emotion you would want to really, really strongly express. And when you're expressing such, of course, as we the audience, ndio tutakuwa tuna watch, tunajua either the audience will be getting angry with the story or maybe getting angry with whatever is happening there, or the audiences will be getting very emotional or very sad, very empathetic with the characters in the story, or it could be love, like people will be feeling like, wow, no, this is the thing. I think this is the best romantic movie I've watched. Yeah, so the kind of feeling you're bringing in the movie, it is going to be judged by the audiences. And talking about the impact, some of the movies that for me, I think they left a very a big emotional impact into me is there's number one movie that tearjerked me. Now that is the emotional bit of feeling sorrow and empathetic. It's a movie called Capernaum. This movie, man, if you haven't watched it, right now it's still available on Netflix. You can watch it. And man, like, this movie was just on another level. Yeah, the kind of, it didn't have soundtracks that would push me to trigger emotions, because it didn't have, like, it has minimal soundtracks. You go watch that movie, very minimal soundtracks. But the way the story was being expressed, the way the actors performed, it was very emotional and very tearjerking. So that was very impactful for me, and it made me remember about that kind of thing, and then because I still remember what happened in that movie and what the kind of influence, the kind of trouble that child was going through. Because yeah, it's a movie from Lebanon, and sometimes this part of the world where whatever happens in those countries and whatever those people are going through, yeah. So for me, that one was very, very impactful. And there's another movie called Miracle in Cell number 7. I know most of us have watched it, and you can be able to relate and tell how impactful and emotional it is. Yeah, because also it's a tearjerking movie, and it brings out that emotion of sorrow and empathy over that character that we follow in that story. And also there are movies like maybe Three Idiots. Those are comedic movies, so you feel like they're laughable movies. Some action movies, you feel anger and empathy and even happiness. Yeah, movies, you need to bring out emotion. Like, with the kind of emotion you're creating, it has to have an impact that will make people remember your movie. Whether they start feeling something sad, whether they start feeling something romantic, something emotional, the emotion of love, emotion of hatred. So your movie should be able to connect with the audience emotionally. Like, people should feel something. People either should feel angry, should feel love, should feel the sadness, or become empathetic, or even feel the hatred and the betrayal in the movie. That emotion should be able to connect with your audience. Okay, the next tip that you need to learn, or maybe just need to understand while developing your stories, is develop relatable and compelling characters. Yes, I've said it, relatable and compelling. So when you talk about relatable characters, I know these are characters you will remember. When you watch Nairobi Half-Life, you remember somebody like Akina Oti, Onyi, like those guys, So you will remember some people, some faces. When you watch movies, like we used to watch the Nigerian movies, zile za kitambo, tulikuwa tunaona Mamaji. You remember Mamaji? She's called Patience Ozoko. So when you see Patience Ozoko, you know that movie. It has witchcraft, and somebody is going to be bewitched. Somebody gonna be bewitched. Oh. So when you find that Mama G is a Christian, so there's one movie I watched of her, and she was this pastor, like I don't know, a deaconess, and then I was like, no, of course she's a deaconess, but I know there's something she's cooking. Show us, writer, director, show us. And the movie ends, she's a good woman, and I'm like, I'm not convinced. So, of course, the first previous movies that she acted, they were very memorable because of her character, how she was pulling it. Even the movies where we had Akina Mercy Johnson, movies that we had a lot of people, like when you watch certain characters in movies, and then you're like, this movie is going to be interesting. So, for example, people watch a movie with Denzel Washington and they say, wow, the character in Denzel that was built maybe in many movies behind whatever he was doing, they make it very relatable, and people are able to remember about the movie. Because now we have another character called Horace, and this character is in the movie called in a series, actually. It's a Beauty in Black by Taylor Perry. So people remember this guy because of how he was acting. And there's a line in that movie where he says, "So you're afraid of the demons, yet you're sitting next to the devil?" Wait a minute. That character was, the way that guy executed the character was so compelling and very imaginable. And even how Taylor Perry built this character. This woman was the church-going woman, and then all of a sudden, she's the devil. She's just hiding in church, and how. So you're able to remember these characters by their behavior and what they are doing. So of course, characters are people we are able to remember. Will help you your story or your film to be remembered by how you build and develop them. So if you're developing your character to become somebody you want to maybe have to express a certain emotion, people will always be remembering the character. When maybe a certain emotion or a certain issue is triggered in their mind, they'll remember that movie based on that character, how he or she was pushing the emotion, or maybe was revealing the emotion to the audience. Yeah, so developing relatable characters, it also gives your movie that a memorable impact, and also something that is very memorable. And also remember, also when you're building your characters, don't build some things that are not in existence, like these people are not existing. Of course, we'll remember like characters like Spider-Man, Superman, because they're not existing people, but the way they go through life, it shows like, okay, fine, yeah, by the way, this is something we can be able to learn. The same way as Christians, we can be able to see and relate how we understand. We've been told about the story of the character of Jesus and how he came into the world and how he was able to, he functioned in the world and he functioned as a normal human being. Of course, Yesu alikuwa pia anaenda choo. Yes. So we are able to connect and understand. Kumbe alikuwaga nasikia pia njaa. Kumbe alikuwaga pia yeye anakuwaga nakasirika saa zingine anapiga watu. Yes. So when you're developing your characters, make sure the characters are able to resonate also with the audience, like the way somebody will behave. That's why una find sometimes we root for certain people in the movie, because unapata mtu anasemaga reason yake ameenda ati, yeah, you know me, I've gone to steal because my daughter is sick. You guys cannot understand. So the audience start getting attached to certain characters just because of how you have developed them and how they are relating with the environment in that movie and how the movie is growing. Okay, so very important to note here is, once you are writing, develop very relatable and compelling characters. Number 3, use unique storytelling techniques. Yes, I've said it. Don't just go linear, like the story starts from A, going to B, C, D, and ends. Or maybe the beginning, middle, end. No. Try and work around, like you can sieve around. Like start from Z, then go to W, then now go start A, B, C, D. Okay, then you keep on shifting until you try to bring your audiences to twist and turns to be able to stand. Sometimes when the audience is thinking things are going left, that is when you turn things to go right. Okay, so also doing some story techniques. Sometimes somebody can be watching a horror and all of a sudden a comedic effect happens, so people start laughing and it's horror. And then when they are laughing, something triggers, like something drastic happens. So when they are laughing, then something drastic happens. Pop! Like example, you are watching a horror movie. So somebody opens, the door opens by itself. And then you enter, people enter, and then they look around. It's dark, it's scary. Then they switch on the light. And then when they switch on the light, they find somebody they find somebody in the fridge, or somebody sitting down the floor with a box of maybe some cakes and maybe biscuits, eating them. And then you want some? So you see, like they trigger some comedic effect based on the situation that they're bringing. Then this person you guys were fearing. This thing is the one that has been eating our eggs here, has been eating our bread, has been eating our cakes. Let's deal with it. So when they go and then start dealing with it, no, I'm not the one. No, I was just getting here by somebody else. And then when the moment is comedic, because you're watching horror, remember, the moment is comic, you bring in another thrilling moment, pop! Like when they are trying to argue, somebody walks to attack the person, when they are almost throwing their hand or throwing a weapon towards them, their hand is chopped off. Now you turn around like you say, what? Okay, what has happened there? And then now the story becomes, it was now going, the story was horrific, it came to a bit of comedy, and then it went to thrilling. And then people start running helter-skelter. And then when they run towards the door locks itself. Beep! Anyway, story for another day. So use unique storytelling techniques. Don't just do your story in a normal way, like, oh, because I'm writing drama, I'll just do drama. No, put in, mix. You remember the previous video I did from this one, the previous video. If you watch it, I'm talking about those some of the rules you can bend or break while writing your story, so that you can build in a very unique storytelling structure for your movie or maybe series. Okay, yes. The other thing that you need to also, the other tip you can be able to use to make your film very memorable and impactful is focus on strong visual storytelling. Yes, guys, I know this one applies to those people who are cinematographer directors. What? You remember when I was talking about the types of directors and I talked about the visual directors? Yes? If you remember the visual directors, I was talking about now these people who just love cameras, and lighting, showing the visuals of the movie. Okay, so when you show the visuals of the movie, this is whereby you work with the lighting and camera framing, composition, and colors, and even color grading your movie. So that is now another unique thing that you can employ while doing your story. You're telling your story, okay, or making your movie impactful. I have this guy called he's called Phil Bresson. So he's Felipe Bresson. He's doing a really amazing job from Insignia, and he has done several series, from Single Kiasi to a series now, Cash Money, on Netflix. And also he did back in the days, he used to do something called the New Beginning and even Changing Times. You know, those series were very memorable because of how the structure of cinematography. Not even the story, because if you ask me about what was happening in Changing Times, I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you what was happening in Changing Times, what was happening then it was called also Changes, then it came to be called New Beginnings. He did that movie, those series, but I cannot exactly tell you what was happening. What I used to love is the kind of picture this guy used to develop from those movies, those series. Yeah. So even when you look at Cash Money, yeah, if you are not very much somebody who is digging deep into the story, you will only remember the visuals. How the visuals he has done it so well. They are very nice. Felipe and your team, congratulations on making such amazing visuals. However, yeah, work on storytelling. Storytelling also matters, but anyway, your visual storytelling is on top. I think we'll collaborate soon, because I can, maybe I have a strength in storytelling. Then also you can bring in now the visual bit of it, and then we build something amazing. Okay, so anyway, that is something to do with the visuals, because I'm able to remember those series because of how the visuals are done. Even if you look at this recent one called Cash Money, he did a series on Netflix, and it's called Cash Money. The series is available on Netflix, called Cash Money. And also there's another series that he's doing for Showmax, is on Showmax, called The Chocolate Empire. So when you look at the visuals, the lighting, the composition, how this guy is doing it, they're very memorable. Like when you close your eyes and then somebody mentions Chocolate City, you remember the visuals, you remember how the logo comes out, so these are visual directors, and they tell their stories to remain memorable through visuals. Okay, so visual storytelling also will be able to help you make something very amazing, very interesting. Also, another one Hey, this one, where was I forgetting this one? This one is from the Nest Collective. They did a series back in 2016. The series was called Tuko Macho. Yeah, the series was called Tuko Macho. And when you look at it, how it was being shot, man, these guys used one shot. A scene has one shot. They don't go to medium close up, wide shots, cutaways and stuff like that. If they're framing for close up, it's close up, and the close up will tell the story for that scene, and it will end. And I used to be like, what? I was so fascinated by how these guys were telling the story. It was so amazing. I would have been able to attend some of the classes they were doing, but that time, man, yeah, it was so amazing and super amazing. Congratulations to them and kudos for the amazing style of cinematography they were doing. Of course, for me, I love it because people will say like, no, that one wasn't compelling. But looking at how the framing was done and the composition of those frames and the story, how it was being told, it really, really, really compelled me to remember that movie. And also remember, even if they were working on certain themes, the theme was also very compelling. But now when it came to the visuals, even the colors that they were using on that visuals, yes, you can. I think I don't know if the film is available in their website. Yeah, I meant to think so. I think maybe the film is if it's available in their websites, you can be able to go and check out on their website to find about that movie. Yeah. Let me see. Yes. So yeah. The series. Yes, it's available. It's available on their website. Wow. So this is the nest.com. Then you look at the works. So when you check, you find the kind of stories they are doing there. So, and that movie was selected in the official Toronto International Film Festival. Wow. Such an amazing thing. Yes, going back to our topic, then the next thing you need to also make sure that your film is memorable and impactful. The other thing is incorporate thought-provoking themes. Yes. So, of course, thought-provoking themes, these are themes that are not talked by everybody. Sometimes you might want to touch on religion. Kidogo too. You want to talk about these controversial preachers who make money in the name of God, preachers who make money in the name of spreading lies and false hope to the congregants. You can talk about religion and people who take advantage of people and women in religion. Especially even in Islam, I've seen them. I've seen some documentaries, people talking about how these people are manipulated with the religion. So you can talk some bit of, that's a controversial topic because some people will be attacking you based on, kwa nini unasema hizo story? By the way, itafurahi sana. Or you can go, this story I must go. You see, you turn anywhere, must go. You turn everywhere, must go. You turn here, must go. You turn here, must go. But don't write here, must go. Anyway, so when you hear a lot of these people talking about must go, and you want to do, you can decide to do a story about it. Like write a film, write a documentary. It will remain compelling and very memorable. We remember the Maandamano that was being done, orchestrated by the Gen Zs back in this country back in the 2024. And guys, it is something also, it's very controversial, but you can write something out of it. You can either write a documentary, an infomercial series, or maybe just a movie. And it will remain memorable because people will be remembering, so this is what was happening. So the theme is very, very controversial, or maybe very, very intriguing. You can write about things to do with some themes to do with maybe abuse, themes to do with maybe femicide, things to do with gender-based violence. Those are some of the controversial themes, but how it is being expressed, it can lead us to making sure that we are able to remember. So why do we remember Nairobi Half-Life so much? Because first of all, it was the only Kenyan movie that was available for people to watch back then, and also I think it's the theme of Ugondi. until people have overstretched it, until nowadays even people still do Ugondi. Even Ugondi has graduated, but still people want to tell the story of Ugondi in the way Nairobi Half-Life told it. So Nairobi Half-Life, and there's this other series called Pepeta. They did the theme they were trying to talk about how people are connecting sports and crime, talent and crime, and how young people are getting killed through that. People are hiding through in talents, kumbe they wanapiga macrime mbaya huko nje. So which it's also a very very interesting theme to cover, because it makes your movie memorable. People will be able to remember like, what? Yeah, so this is what you're talking about. Then the other tip that you need to also just learn or employ in your movies is elevate with a memorable soundtrack. Yes, I said soundtrack. Of course, soundtracks, these soundtracks or maybe music for movies can be things that can be curated for that particular movie when you are developing it. So maybe somebody can be hired to write a song for the movie, or a theme song for the movie, and another person, or the theme song for the movie can come out even before the movie comes out. Then when the movie comes out and then people are connecting it with the song, it is easy now to make it more memorable. The movie becomes more memorable because now the people and the audiences are able to attach the movie to the song, because they understand, oh, this was the theme song for this movie. So of course there are movies you'll hear soundtracks like for example, if I mention, if I'll start singing, but this is not the best sound of me singing. So Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, 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 da 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 da. Of course, you know the kind of movie, the series I'm talking about. Yes, it is because of that soundtrack. Then the other, you can have like something like this music, like one Nigeria will call, oh yeah. Oh yeah, mama. I don't know what it means, but anyway, so you're able to remember. So they have this memorable soundtrack that when you hear it, you feel like, that is the certain movie. So when you're doing your intros, make sure your intros are very, very compelling and very memorable, so that the audiences are able to connect and say like, that is a particular movie. Especially, for instance, kitambo tulikuwa na series fulani ilikuwa Kenya, ilikuwa inaitwa Machachari. Sijui bahati huwa hata kiwa katikati pia ni mlafi no money no masijui aka fat so sijui buliwa mtaa so anabo you remember those guys. So when you bring out some compelling soundtracks, they will be able to create your series or your story or your movie memorable. So that is another thing that you need to learn. And even I know for movies, for yourself, you can find an artist who is singing, who has sung a song, and maybe they have not done a video yet, or they've done a video, and then you say, I love that music, I love that song, I would love to do a movie about whatever thing you are talking about, or I have written a movie about the thing that you're talking in your movie, in your song actually. So can I borrow your song? Can I license your song to use it in my movie, so that it brings out now, it makes now the movie memorable, because now you'll be using that soundtrack to tell your story, and it will be very compelling and very interesting on how you're executing that story. Yes, so of course we have artists like Akina The Weeknd. These are artists who came to be known when through movies, because they were doing soundtracks for movies. For them, they were just these performing artists who are in studios rapping or maybe doing music for movies, and that's when they release a song and then the movie is coming out. Then you connect, kumbe this is the person this person was singing this song for this movie, and then you're like, wow, well, this is so amazing now. So that is how we end up to knowing some artists, and that is how again you end up making your movie memorable. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Those are some of the 6 tips that you can use to make your movies memorable. movies or series memorable. So you can either choose to employ all of the 6, or you can choose to employ 2, 3 tactics so that you can make your movie memorable and also very impactful. And remember, don't be afraid of anything. Write. If this is your passion, if this is your thing, you want to express it, just write and go ahead and shoot that story. Tell the story. Don't be afraid of anything. Just tell the story, because we have platforms, and a lot of platforms you can be able to showcase your movie. Si kama kitambo ndo tungekuwa tunangoja unashoot upeleke TV. Okay, sawa, nitapeleka TV, then TV wanakataa, then yeah. But right now we have this free space. It's called YouTube. So join in. Let's enjoy the movement. Let's enjoy the space. And yeah, let's have a creation. Until next time, guys. See you, and stay tuned, and keep on writing, keep on shooting, keep on creating content, and keep on building the wealth of content in this country and in this world. See you on to the next video. Cheers.